Did Karl Marx fail to consider Fortnite? Marx begins his fundamental analysis and critique of capitalism like this. The wealth of those societies in which the capitalist mode of production prevails presents itself as an immense accumulation of commodities, its unit being a single commodity. Marx starts his famous work Das Kapital by analyzing the commodity. But how does his concept of the commodity apply to Fortnite skins? Are Fortnite skins commodities? If you're like me, and the thought of not knowing how Marx would feel about the Pomni Fortnite skin keeps you up at night, then you're in luck, bud. Let's use part 1 of Capital to figure this shit out. Alright, so commodities are products with a twofold nature. They have use value, meaning they satisfy human wants or needs. They also have exchange value. This is what the commodity can be exchanged for. Commodities must have both to qualify as commodities. Fortnite skins definitely have use value. Playing with the skin, showing it off, looking at it, staring at it, gawking at it. Use value doesn't have to be an absolute need for survival. It can just be something you desire. So Fortnite skins do qualify as having use value. They also have exchange value. They can be bought with a certain amount of money. Some might think that they don't have exchange value, since once you buy a skin, you can't go and exchange it for something else anymore. But this isn't a requirement. Simply the fact that the skin was exchanged for something in the first place proves that it has exchange value. Take a hot dog, for example. If you buy one and then eat it right after, you can't resell it anymore, but that doesn't mean it wasn't a commodity. Fortnite skins are the same way. Some would say that Fortnite skins are digital, and therefore they can't be commodities. But this doesn't change anything. Skins still have use value and exchange value. Let's move on to the next criteria for commodities. Commodities are produced for the purpose of exchange. Fortnite skins definitely satisfy that condition. They are put on the item shop to be sold. However, if an employee at Epic Games creates a Fortnite skin solely for themselves to use and doesn't put it on the Fortnite item shop, then it's not a commodity because it wasn't produced to be sold. But Fortnite skins are put on the item shop, so this condition is satisfied. Finally, let's look at the last condition for a commodity to be a commodity. Commodities can be exchanged with other commodities. This is obvious. But in order for them to be exchanged with each other, they must have something in common. This commonality is that they were produced by human labor. Marx refers to this as value. So a commodity's value is the human labor used to produce that commodity. More specifically, value is the amount of labor that is socially necessary to produce a commodity under normal conditions. Therefore, all commodities have value, meaning all commodities are created by human labor. Skins are definitely made from human labor. Artists, 3D modelers, and animators put in work to create the skin. But it's more complicated than just this, since after the first instance of a Fortnite skin is created, the amount of labor it takes to produce new instances of that skin is much lower than the initial amount of labor to produce the first instance. The artists don't have to make a copy of the skin from scratch every time someone buys it. It's not like a book where you have to manufacture each copy every time. So if we consider each instance of the same Fortnite skin to be separate commodities, then the first instance of a skin has a significant amount of value, while each subsequent copy has almost zero value. This doesn't mean that Fortnite skins aren't commodities. Compare this to clothes. Before we had machines to help us make clothes, they had to be made by hand, and this required lots of human labor. But as machines got better and better at making clothes, the amount of human labor it takes to make the same piece of clothing fell dramatically. A sped up version of this happens with Fortnite skins. Copies become much easier to produce compared to the first instance, so these copies have much less value. But if this is true, why do Fortnite skins still cost money? Shouldn't they be almost free, since each copy has little value? The answer is no. Marx makes it clear that not every sale is between two items of the same value. In fact, Marx makes a distinction between the value of a commodity and its exchange value. Exchange value is merely the expression of that commodity's value. They don't have to be of equal magnitude. So you can exchange the PC you play Fortnite on with somebody else's cardboard box. But that doesn't suddenly mean that the cardboard box has the same value or took the same amount of labor to produce as the PC. It's the same with Fortnite skins. So to summarize, Fortnite skins satisfy all conditions for being commodities. They have use value and exchange value, they are products of human labor, and they are produced for the purpose of exchange. Fortnite skins are commodities, Marx would love the Pomni skin, and all is good in the world, right? But wait, hold on. If Fortnite skins are commodities, are the V-bucks you use to pay for them also commodities? Well, let's walk through the list of conditions. V-bucks definitely have exchange value. 800 of them can be bought with $9. They do seem to have use value. They satisfy the desire to buy skins and other cosmetics within Fortnite. But wait, isn't that their only use value? You can't do anything with V-bucks other than use them to buy things. Nobody would buy V-bucks if you couldn't buy cosmetics with them. If something's only use value is that it can be exchanged for other commodities, does that mean it is not a commodity? The answer is definitely yes. Every commodity can be exchanged. That's what exchange value is for. A commodity's use value is its utility outside of this fact. If a commodity's only use value was that it could be used for exchange, then the exchange value and the use value of that commodity would collapse into being one and the same thing. This goes directly against the twofold nature of commodities. So because V-bucks have no use value outside of exchange, they are not commodities. Some people might object and bring up the example of money. Money's primary use value is that it can be exchanged for other things. Aren't V-bucks just the money in Fortnite? Isn't money a commodity? To answer these questions, we have to look at what Marx says about money. More specifically, we have to trace the evolution of the different forms of value into the money form. First, let's go back to the PC. Let's say that the PC has the same value as someone else's gaming laptop. So one PC equals one laptop. Our PC's value is expressed in the form of the laptop, because that laptop is something that our PC can be exchanged for. The PC's exchange value is one laptop, and the laptop is the equivalent to the PC. Marx would refer to this as the elementary form of value. But the laptop is not the only thing that our PC has the same value as. Let's say it also has the same value as a PS5, or 3 iPhones, or 100 bars of soap. So one PC equals one PS5, or 3 iPhones, or 100 bars of soap. Now, our PC expresses its value in multiple commodities, and each of them are the PC's equivalent. But just as the PC can express its value in these terms, so can the PS5 express its value in terms of the PC, or the iPhones, or the soap bars, and the iPhones can express their value in terms of the PC, or the PS5, or the soap bars, and so on. Every single commodity expresses its value through all other commodities. This is the expanded form of value, and it's a chaotic and endless chain of equivalence. We can fix this problem by reversing the equation. Instead of one PC equals one PS5 or 3 iPhones or 100 bars of soap, we can say that one PS5 or 3 iPhones or 100 bars of soap equals one PC. Instead of each commodity expressing its value in every other commodity, now each commodity expresses its value in terms of one single commodity, the PC. Instead of each commodity having a bunch of equivalents, each commodity has a universal equivalent, that being the PC. This is the general form of value. This universal equivalent doesn't have to be a PC. It can be the PS5 or the 3 iPhones or any other commodity. But a commodity doesn't just become the universal equivalent by chance. Rather, a commodity is repeatedly used as such until it becomes socially recognized as the universal equivalent. When this happens, the universal equivalent is referred to as money, and we have reached the money form of value. Marx uses gold as an example of money, since that was the main universal equivalent of his time. Gold starts off as a simple commodity, having use values just like any other commodity, as jewelry for an example. But when it becomes money, it gains new use values. It is used as a measure of value, since commodities express their value in terms of gold. Gold is still a commodity, but it becomes a money commodity, as Marx refers to it. This is different from V-bucks in Fortnite. V-bucks are a way for Fortnite skins to express their value, but unlike gold, V-bucks do not have a different use value outside of this one. Gold's use value is twofold, while V-bucks' use value is not. Therefore, V-bucks are not money commodities like gold, since they lack an independent use value. But this is not the end of Marx's analysis of money. Gold was shaped into coins of various weights so that it could be used as money. But as soon as these coins start to circulate, they start to lose some of their weight. For example, a government could mint a 1-ounce coin, which contains 1 ounce of gold. But over time, some of that gold is chipped away as it changes hands, and it now only contains 0.9 ounces of gold. Yet even though this coin doesn't contain 1 ounce of gold anymore, it is still treated as if it does, and it has the exact same exchange value as a perfect 1-ounce coin. Therefore, the value of this chipped coin becomes separated from its physical form, and instead is just a symbol of the value of 1 ounce of gold. Marx uses this example to make the point that gold's function as a medium of circulation can be replaced by something that merely represents it. Paper money, which was backed by gold in Marx's time, is another example. Although it is relatively without value, paper money can function as a symbol of value, serving in the place of the money commodity, gold in this example. Note that these symbols of value are recognized by Marx as not being commodities. They have no use value outside of representing the money commodity's value. We already know that vbucks are also not commodities. So could vbucks instead be an example of a symbol of value? Well, Marx explains that in order for paper money to replace gold, specifically gold's function as a medium of circulation, that paper money must have social validity, and it must be universally recognized as representing gold. vbucks does have social validity. It is universally recognized as the currency of Fortnite, as decreed by Epic Games and accepted by the players. So at face value, it seems like vbucks could be a symbol of value, just like gold-backed paper money was in Marx's time. But when you dig deeper, it becomes clear that vbucks are not symbols of value. The main reason why is that they don't circulate. Marx says that symbols of value specifically replace the money commodity's function as a medium of circulation. Instead of gold being exchanged from person to person, paper money is exchanged from person to person. But this doesn't exist inside Fortnite. vbucks can't be circulated between players. They can only move from players to Epic Games. This is definitely not circulation, as Epic Games doesn't exactly gain the vbucks that players spend on skins. It's more accurate to say that these vbucks are destroyed rather than transferred. Epic Games doesn't just have a big balance of vbucks sitting somewhere. So now, we can finally answer if vbucks are money. The answer is no. Not in Marx's sense, since they aren't a money commodity, nor are they symbols of value. It is true that vbucks function similar to money in Fortnite, but they do not align with Marx's definitions of money. So, vbucks are not money, and we've already established that they aren't commodities. Fortnite skins are definitely commodities though. All is right in the world. Fortnite is materialist. The universe is ending. Buy gold. Buy.